Good
Morning.
Good morning. There you are.
Here I are.
How are you today?
Oh, I went to the Yard Goats baseball game last night.
The Yard Goats? Where's that?
It's right in Hartford.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I'll bet.
Yeah, a late night though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fun. At
Yeah,
least
I thought
being
that would be fun.
outside.
Yep. So how are things in your world?
Good. We're about 10 days away from our trip.
Wonderful.
What?
Wonderful.
Yes.
The anticipation is as much fun almost as going.
I know. We're getting pretty excited about it at this point.
Where are you headed?
Oh, San Diego.
Oh, goody.
Well,
Great.
yeah, did I not tell you about this? I thought maybe I had, but maybe you weren't here when I talked about it. Our daughter-in-law's grandmother is sending 22 members of the family on a cruise,
Oh my.
which she is paying for.
Woohoo!
But what this means is that Zach and Hannah have to find somebody to take care of their dog, who is not a dog you can take to a kennel.
Mm.
He's a sweetie, but he has some issues. And so we have been summoned to San Diego to her parents' home to stay there with the dog while they're on the cruise.
Uh-huh.
And her parents' home has pool and jacuzzi, so it's not going to be too bad a place to be.
Oh, yes, and it's always good to get out of your own place.
Oh yeah. So we really get along with Enzo, the dog. He was a real sweetie. As a matter of fact, 2 days after we came back from our last trip, Hannah was out walking Enzo, and she walked by the B&B where we had been staying, and the dog turned right into the gate and stopped and said, "Aren't we going in?"
Oh,
Which I thought was very cute.
yeah.
It made us feel good.
Excellent.
So anyway, our trip out there is being paid for, so it's not, we can't turn it down.
It's a boondoggle. Good for you.
Not only that, we're coming back first class. I can't.
Oh.
And I have, I don't think I've ever ridden first class.
Gosh. Well, that's going to be an
So that'll be
adventure.
fun.
Great.
And you're here on your own today.
I am, huh? Do
Um,
you ever pause for the summer?
well, there's going to be a month break here. Our next class is August 6th.
Okay.
So that's my summer break, as it were.
Okay. August 6th. I'll be in the middle of all of German family arriving with my sister's ashes, what we're gonna
Oh,
take care of. Yeah. So that's what's on for this time. We haven't seen that family for, well, since we went over to be with her on her deathbed.
oh,
Yeah.
how long ago was that?
Last May.
That's gosh,
Yep.
that's when we lost Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Not the same.
Well, it has many of the same elements.
Yeah. So, well, that's that'll be probably an emotional time.
It'll be glorious to see them all.
Yeah, that's great. So, yes, Kaya apparently is not well
Oh,
today. I don't know what the issue is, but with two small children, Andrew has to do that.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't just abandon two small children. Not even one.
Okay, well, we'll do it for them all.
Absolutely. We are recording, so we will have that.
Mm.
Well, the Ting Shaw is particularly happy this morning.
Oh, good.
I understand that it doesn't sound very good on Zoom.
You get sort of a ting, and then it's and there's no vibration. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, there was a lot today.
Well, good, good.
So, questions, reports, problems?
Well, we'll see when we get into it, I guess.
Okay.
I'm finding I'm thinking too much about the flow of energy up, around, down the outside. I'm not sure whether to just let that go and just do it.
Yeah, yes, you should just let go of it and simply allow yourself to be aware of whatever there is.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
We'll talk some.
Because you get so busy paying attention to what I'm drawing up and sending down that you're not thinking about what is happening, what might be happening,
Right.
what you might notice if you just disengaged your brain. Okay,
So that's you're pointing out a typical problem for most of us in the West, initially anyway. So yeah, if you can let go of some of that, it probably will all come together a little more easily. There's as we go into this practice, there are a lot of these pieces of the body movement that we're working on. And they're all important in their own right. And we eventually need to be able to incorporate all of them. But it's a lot of pieces to think about in the beginning. And one of the reasons I think that we introduce them in the manner we are, sort of a few at a time, is to hopefully to allow us to integrate them just into this very simple movement that we've been doing, which is going to be ultimately the base of the next four movements that we'll be working on, actually all 5.
So it really needs to, I mean, that base needs to just be in you, that you're just doing it. You get the feel of it, so you just keep doing it. And
Right.
the others, yeah. Okay.
So, one of the, we had talked last time about finding our 3-year-old bounce. Do you have any sense of that?
The 3-year-old's a long way back. But,
No kidding.
but yes, that sort of loose, relaxed,
Okay,
soft.
good. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just to stand up and bounce a little bit
Okay.
while I talk.
All right. I will stand up and bounce. Tiny room.
I beg your pardon?
I say I'm in my tiny room and I have to move all the furniture in order to
Oh,
get the.
well, we won't judge the room. So you're bouncing.
I'm out.
So how about your knees? Is
How
it
about 'em? They're happy.
Oh, good. Is the back of your knee opening?
I think so.
Good. If you open the back of your knee, notice the bounce getting better. You're dealing with better and worse, and forget about the idea of an absolute standard. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
You're either better one day or you're worse the next one, and that's it. How about your feet? Are they opening up?
Yeah.
And the back of your heel, the area right behind your Achilles tendon, is that open?
I mean, I'm not sure what open feels like, but I'm paying attention to relaxing them.
Good.
I think it does. I don't feel tension. I feel just loose.
Good. Actually contributing to that, think about your ankle. Is it connected, and is it slightly, can you extend it a little?
Extend it.
So having it open up a little bit more.
Does that mean more movement?
It should.
More of a bounce?
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
that raising up of your ankle is really very much like what we do with the knee. So now what's the relationship between your ankles and the knees? Every time you find it, you get it, and you get that, and you just get more. But wait a minute, if you tighten up, what did you miss? So feel it in the ankle, the back of the heel, the foot, the knee. All right. So in a way, that's kind of what you have to do almost every time is for a while, is just to kind of check through all those points and make sure that they're as open and relaxed, and you're getting as much bounce as you can get. Okay, you can come back and sit down for a minute. So now we're going to look at the hips. So here's a few things about the hips. Tightness in your hips is not a small matter, even if you only want a better golf swing. Understand this, I don't know if you play golf. Understand this, your hips and butt, in addition to being an object of sexual attraction and providing padding when you sit down on a chair, are very much tied into, are the muscles in your butt loose? Because that's basically what is holding your pelvis in place. So you have a connection between two things in terms of becoming stretched or becoming loose. Because for many people, the attachments of our gluteals, the butt, to the hips are so tight that the reason why they can't sit in a lotus position is due to that. So the psoas muscle and sartorius muscles, by the way, which I will send you pictures of with the notes.
They're deep inside, right? They're deep.
They are, and they actually run right through that hip area, through the quad, both of them. One ends here, and the psoas goes on up and actually connects to the spine.
Okay.
So if the front of the inguinal crease and if the front of the inguinal crease area is hard, what you want to do is get a sense of it coming in a little bit. So relaxing in, actually rounding in a little bit. But in the process of doing this, your butt muscles have to release and round towards the front. So they have to move around, have a sense of relaxing and moving around towards the front. If you want your hips to be loose, the butt muscles, the gluteals, and their attachments have to relax and have the sense of coming forward. They are the brakes. When your hips are stiff, sometimes you turn too far with the shoulders because the hips can't move. And guess what happens to your lower back? Don't you love your chiropractor so much that you want to make the payments on his next Mercedes. So the whole thing of having loose hips is not just a question of you want to look better on the dance floor, and you can obviously see some other places it might be helpful for, but it's way more about your spine. Why am I mentioning this? It's because the greatest single amount of medical time that is spent in the United States is on back problems. That's it. It's a lot nicer to get this now and not have to deal with your back because you don't understand it. So what I'd like you to do is to stand up, and I'll do this with you. So and just step out a little wider than shoulders width. Take a little wider stance. And to begin with, make sure that you relax the quad and that you're letting yourself sit down a little bit. And see if you can feel that releasing in that inguinal crease area, in the area of the quad point. Let that have a sense of relaxing in, and of the gluteal muscles, the butt relaxing around to the front. And then just slide the weight from side to side again, as we've done in the past. And just be aware of trying to maintain that as you do it. Try to not tighten up those muscles in back, but let them relax and round and wrap around the hip.
Which muscles are actually moving you?
So certainly the muscles of from a physical standpoint, the muscles of the quad are very involved because we are opening and closing that area as we move from side to side. And there is definitely, as you move from one side, from the weighted side, you have the impulse coming from underneath the foot beginning to move you over. And that movement into the new weighted leg is one of relaxation. It's not one of control and holding. It's just letting that fold occur and being, yes, aware of not shifting too far, because you can go too far and lose your balance. But one of the things about this is that your hips don't have to be tense. The gluteal muscles of your butt don't have to be tense. They may be working some as you make this movement, but you're also endeavoring to keep them as soft and relaxed as possible. And then begin to both rotate and shift together. And this becomes really important, that the rotation and the shifting of the weight are simultaneous and connected, so that there is no point at which you are doing only one of those movements. You are always both rotating and shifting your weight. And you can just feel what's the pace that I want to do this at the moment. You might want to go very slowly. Maybe that's how you can feel that connection. Or maybe you need to go more quickly. Just keep going for a moment. Let me just. Good. That's looking much better than the last time I observed you doing this, Susan.
Good.
How do you feel about it?
I feel as though my gluteus and what these are
The quad, the
the
in-
quad are relaxed, but my quads are tight
Mhm.
from moving, just shifting the weight.
That's not unusual. Certainly when we begin. So really trying to keep letting everything relax. And really finding that coordination of moving together, because that's going to be essential in all four of the next of the postures, the next postures. Okay, so that's one thing to work on. You can sit down. You get lots of breaks in this.
Yep, the old body needs lots of breaks.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that. So the next large issue we have to is to get the energy of your legs to fully connect to your body. So this is kind of relating to your what you were saying earlier. We all have arms and legs, and a major point that we have just worked on and in doing cloud hands is to make that connection. If the energy from your legs is connected to your body, it can rise up and go down from top and the bottom. But now we have another issue that is rather important, and that is to get the energy of your arms to connect to your legs, because you effectively have 5 points of extremity in your body: your toes, your fingertips, and the crown of your head. And if your chi doesn't get evenly to all 5 of them, then you have problems, because your chi isn't circulating evenly in your body. If a person is practicing Qigong and wants to know if they're doing it right, let's not get in all the right parts that we could talk about, but are they at least getting the number one biggest thing right? Well, that simply is that you get to a point where you can get the chi very evenly in your fingers, your toes, and the crown of your head simultaneously. Because the only way it can arrive at those 5 points evenly rather than unevenly is if your chi is really circulating well. And there are all sorts of diagnostic things that can be done so that you can figure out that the Wei Qi is not reaching one of those 5 extremities. What is most likely blocked inside your body, if those 5 are not even, then all you know is that something is getting gooped up in the middle. And what is it? And that's a case by case, and there's a lot of variations. So the next thing, and I might say, this is something that you probably won't achieve for quite a while. And it might be weeks, months, or years, varies, depends on the person. So don't be concerned that you don't achieve it, that get it right away. So the next thing is about getting your arms to join your body. Now, from this perspective, when you were doing your first shifting of the weight and making sure your dog was open and your spine connecting up effectively, what you were really doing is connecting your legs to your spine, because connecting your lower energy to your upper energy, you're connecting the energy of your legs to your spine. Excuse me. Anybody who knows anything about medicine knows that in terms of back problems, having good, strong legs is the one single biggest point that will help you not to get a lot of back problems. And let's face it, your spine is sitting on your legs. It's not sitting on your nose. That's one point. But what about your hands? Well, this next exercise is only going to be about one thing, getting your arms to connect to your spine and connect to your body. If your arms are not connected to your body, then you have intrinsically disturbed the circulation of the energy in your body. And to what degree? Hard to say. But what you can say is that it's less than what it should be. So the way the arms are always held in Taoist Qi practices, Qigong, Tai Chi, Bagua, and really there are other things that you've never heard the names of, is always that the shoulders are not connected into the body, but the shoulder blades are opened up so that the motion from the spine through the shoulder blades can reach the hands easily. The elbows are always bent. In different styles, they're bent in different ways, but your elbows never really extend more than, let's say, 80%. They never bend back more than 80%, and usually about 70%. Because once a joint goes completely straight, or once it goes completely back, it's natural pumping action that happens in all the joints, which is responsible for getting your qi to go out and come back in, diminishes. The circulation diminishes. And that's the reason why lots of people are really, really strong when they're young, but not when they get to be a little bit older, because they have not been consistently keeping those energetic pumps strong. One thing, we can read that later. Just keep in mind this very simple thing. Qi has to go up. It has to go down. It also has to go out and back in. Down your legs, up your legs, and from your arms, that is effectively in and out. So it is necessary for the elbow to be bent, because once the elbow straightens, then the fluid pumping in the energetic pumps in the arms diminishes. And although you're affecting your muscles, you're not affecting your chi flow very much. And that's a very basic problem. Yes, you have to do it with your elbows bent. And then you're also going to have your wrists be very relaxed. And the same way that you want to have your ankles be open and your feet and your toes open, you want to have your wrists and your hands and your fingers open so the chi can flow through them. And that's very important. For most people, the energy of their arms is not that well connected to the body. Usually it's something that has to be trained, because it just not the sort of stuff that was taught to children. If they got the idea when they were very small, they probably would keep it their whole lives. But since nobody knows about it and they didn't do it, they don't have it. Just as you can have intellectually illiterate population, so you can also have a physically and energetically illiterate population. So I want you to put your arms, well, actually probably a good idea to stand up to do this. Let me, okay. So what I want you to do is put your arms straight out in front of your left and right channels. So that means that the elbows have to come in. And notice that my elbows are straight down to the earth and the forearms are relatively parallel. And the hands are really just up about heart level. And what I'd like you to do just for a moment is just to let your arms sit in that position and just close your eyes. Okay, so you can open your eyes up. That's pretty good. A lot of people, when they close their eyes, their hands start moving all over the place, but you did pretty well. Now, keeping the arms where you have them, just begin to shift from side to side. And think about having no, don't rotate yet.
No.
Just shift. So I think you need to extend your arms a little bit so that your elbows can rotate a little closer to down and the forearms a little more parallel. Good. And you're really just trying to feel that you're getting your legs connecting to your body and getting your arms connecting to your body.
My hands are tingling.
I beg your pardon?
My hands are tingling.
Good. Now, as you're having your arms out here, you want to notice that you let your arms separate out. You want to try to keep them in that original position in front of your left and right channels. And one of the things now that you want to begin to try to feel is that your scapula, your shoulder blades, are slightly moving away from the spine. So you're achieving, that's happening by the extension forward of your elbows. So you're just feeling a little bit of movement in the scapula, and that should increase the tingling that you're feeling in your fingers and hands. That's good. But you want to really feel that connection into your scapula. Feel that they are connected to your arms. And that helps you to engage your spine. Because if you fully engage your spine, what that's going to mean is over time, it will develop a stronger connection. But if you only engage it a little bit because you're not using it all that much, well, not much is going to happen. And that is a really big thing. So you want that connection through the shoulder blades to be one of releasing, allowing them to separate, not forcing them to separate. And then you want to have a sense that your shoulders nests are softening. So that the further you want your hands to go out from the body, the softer your shoulders nest become and want to actually sink in.
Well, it's a ton of tension.
I'm sorry?
I say there's a ton of tension in through here.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah.
from holding your arms out.
So you have to let go of that. Getting the shoulder blades to release and the shoulders nest to soften really allows the connection to the spine to open up. It allows the energy to drop down the left and right channels, which is usually difficult for most people.
Well, yeah, this is gonna take some doing.
But this rising of the spine is going to enable the rising of energy up the spine and down the front of the body. Part of that macrocosmic circuit we talked about. And this is difficult. So the ideal height for the hands is about heart level.
Oh, they're dropping.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
And the elbows are sort of in your waist or further out?
Well, you know, if you're connecting to your scapula, they're going to be a little further out.
Further out, yeah.
And that allows the energy to flow. And it puts your hands kind of in the middle between the top and bottom of the body. And that helps even the pressure between the top and the bottom of the spine.
Do you want your shoulders up, back, and down? Because mine are going forward and picking up the tension, I think.
They will come forward a little because the scapula are rounding outward. But the shoulders nest softening and sinking in allows the shoulders to stay down. They're not rising up. So one of the things that this helps us develop is not so much that we are forcing this to happen, but that we're allowing it to happen. And you want your wrists to be relaxed and open. So you feel the energy from your spine, not only going out to your fingertips, but coming back in and going down the front of your body. So this, of course, means that the chest has to relax. The more the chest relaxes, the more the shoulders nest will be able to go inward. All these parts are joined together. When we have one going down and one going up, you want to keep your arms parallel. The purpose of getting your hands on your left and your right channels is actually to stabilize the energy in the channels, which is extremely important because your right and left and central channels are what literally created not only your acupuncture system, but the other 4,000 channels in your body. So if you get those three stable, it tends to even the rest of them out dramatically more than affecting any of the smaller channels will. And now begin to add rotating into this. Remember not to let your knees go back. And apply the quafold.
Oh,
Okay, you take a break.
I gotta. Oh, boy,
Yeah,
we got a ways to go, huh?
well,
So,
this in a way, this is even a little more difficult than the actual postures are, the actual movements, because you're not moving the arms. So, but that's intentional. You're certainly developing your awareness of the positioning of the arms and of moving the energy through them, and that you have to stay relaxed in order to do that. And it's difficult. It's not easy.
muscles get tired.
Yeah. So you practice for a little while, and when it begins to be an issue, you stop and rest. Then later on, practice a little bit more.
Mm.
And gradually it gets easier. But any questions you have at the moment?
No, I can see I just need to keep doing it.
Well, you're good about understanding that. Yeah, it's not, the concepts aren't terribly difficult. It is just difficult getting where they are comfortable and integrated into your body. And
Now, with the discomfort then, it's because my muscles are working rather than relaxing.
mhm.
Yeah.
So
But in
that's
order to
what,
hold your arms out, it's taking some muscle. No?
well, yes, it's taking more muscle now than it will eventually. Because eventually you can do a lot of this with your intention and your energy. And we really, one of the problems for us in the West is that we believe when we're doing something like this, that's the active word, that we have to do it. And that's why I keep saying allow,
Yeah.
because there's an awful lot that the body will do without effort if we allow it. And if we let go of making it happen. Which is kind of a foreign concept for us.
Yeah.
But it works eventually.
We live long enough, huh?
Yeah, you will. You're doing just fine. Actually, you are doing just fine. Don't feel that you're not. It's a
So
slow.
much. There's so much of my life experience that goes into this, from the early days of when they trained you in childbirth to relax all your muscles and just make some of them open and yeah.
Yeah.
And then just you mean, even when I do yoga now, I move into a stance that's correct, with my knee over my foot. It's not, I look at all the other people and they're way out over their knee and trying to balance. And,
Yeah.
so a lot of it has settled into my bones and cells.
Yeah. It's just we're pushing pushing beyond
Yeah.
And all of these things, excuse me, are really focusing on internal aspects, ultimately.
Mm.
And we talk about some external things, but they are all focused on eventually releasing and allowing the energy to move. And have have the movements and the energy have their appropriate effect inside the body. So it will all come together. You're doing just fine. So, sorry, I won't see you for quite a while, but you've got a lot to work on.
Yes. Yes, thank you. But you can work on it when you're just standing around, I find. I just waiting in
Absolutely.
lines. And,
Absolutely. You know, I can, you said that, and I flashed on Master Joe at the Tai Chi farm, sitting on top of a picnic table and really saying exactly that you can practice all the time.
yeah,
You just have to be aware of what you can do wherever you are.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And it's true.
And you can think it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
I've always, I don't know whether I've ever told you this or not, but I heard this story about apparently a group of Tai Chi teachers were talking together, and one was saying that it was possible to really learn and make progress simply by not physically moving, but visualizing, just thinking about the movements.
Mm.
And he was challenged by the other teachers about that, and he said, "Well, let's do a little test." He said, I think he probably had a wager on it, but he agreed not to do any physical Tai Chi practice for 6 months, but only to do it in his head. And they videotaped him in the beginning, and then 6 months later, they videotaped him again, and he had made obvious, significant progress.
Great.
So now, I'm not sure everybody is capable of doing that, but I do believe that's possible. I think all of us can make some progress that way. So,
Okay.
well, have a great July.
And our next meeting is
August 6th.
August 6th. All right.
And I will send you notes, and there are probably quite a bit more information in the notes, which I haven't said necessarily today. So look through them.
Okay.
And
And where are we in the session? Do I owe you?
no, actually, August will be the beginning of a new session.
Okay. And just remind me again what it is. I have a sieve brain.
240.
240. Okay. Well,
Great, good. I'll look forward to seeing you in August.
and have fun with your little dog.
I'm sure we will.
I'm sure you will.
We
Thank you, David.
Oh, you're welcome, Susan.
Say hi to Jane.
Yeah. And you have fun with your family when they come.
Thank you. I just can't wait.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.